Here are some facts we all need to know. Take a look at your rate notice. Take a real good look at your rate notice and see what name that you've been addressed by. You will likely see your full given name and surname does not appear, and certainly not the name that's on your title. There is a very good reason for this, and that is that a council has no business with your title and cannot make a charge against your title. So why won't these councils put your true personal name on their rate notice? Well, the answer is they simply know that they have no proper claim against your title and cannot create a charge against your title. Now, then you may well ask, why don't they have a claim against your title, or why can't they place a charge for rates against your property? Well, the answer is that councils have never been recognised under the Australian Constitution. In 1988, there was a national referendum with the question being asked, do you want to recognise a third tier of government, being local government or councils? The answer to that by the Australian people was a resounding 80% said no. The very next year, state governments around Australia created what is now known as the Local Government Act. One has to ask, how do you create an act out of something that doesn't actually exist? So when you push these councils on this, they'll likely say to you, well, under the Queensland Constitution we have the power to do this. However, if you go to our Constitution, section 109, chapter 5, it says, when a law of the state is inconsistent with the law of the Commonwealth, the latter shall prevail and the former shall to the extent of the inconsistency be invalid. In other words, the Queensland Constitution is subordinate to the Australian Constitution, so they cannot use this. The Australian Constitution is the supreme power. Now, just go back to your rates notice. What is a rates notice anyway? A notice is a notice that something's about to happen. It's not a bill, it's not an invoice, it's not a bill under the Bills of Exchange Act, and it's not an invoice as set out under the Income Tax Assessment Act. So it's only a notice, it has no force and effect. Then again you can ask the question, well, why won't council give me a proper bill? Why won't they give me a recognised invoice rather than a rates notice? Well, it comes back to that same old story again. They have no claim, no proper valid claim on your property. If you, the title holder, has no proper contract with council and a contract in your true title name, then how can they make a charge up? They just can't back this charge. They know it. But they'll bluff you and harass you and threaten you. But when you stand your ground and you ask them the hard questions about all this, then all of a sudden they just go deadly quiet. Councils operate under legislation. They do not operate under law. They have no power to create or enact laws. But in this grab for power that they seem to have these days, they are now putting forward that they control law. You hear the term local law being used all the time by council now, when in fact they have no power to enact law. The other tool of oppression they're using now is they're starting to call everyone in their offices. You're an officer for this, or you're an officer for that, and it's all about this intimidation and this self-empowering feeling that we are all meant to bow and be enslaved by these masters. The fact is, councils are only there by the grace and goodwill of the people that put them there. They're there to make our life more manageable and more pleasant, and we pay them to do this, not to overrun us, make rules and regulations that force us into an oppressive position, fine us, charge us, and the like. I say to these councils, we the people are the ones that put you there in your positions. We pay you, and we pay you well, to do what we want you to do. Not what you want to do, not to waste our money, not to over-regulate us, not to charge us, fine us. This is not on, this is not the way it's meant to be, and if you don't change your ways, then you will be gone. Look, we all want our garbage collected next week and we want the potholes in the road fixed. We're not saying there's no role for council to play. We're just saying get back to the basics, council, and do what you're meant to be doing for the people and stop your intimidating ways.